Good morning to all. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about active attacks. In previous lecture, we have discussed about passive attacks. So, what is this active attacks? So, these active attacks involve some modification of data streams or some creation of false streams. So, unlike passive attacks, it is very difficult to find out because it is not making any changes in my system resources. But if you take my pass active attack, it is highly easy to find out because it is making changes in my system resources. So these active attacks or falls under four categories. So what are the four categories? Number one is masquerading, or in other words we can say it as fabrication. Okay, so this has been depicted in this diagram. What is this masquerading? So masquerading is nothing but pretending to be a different identity. Okay, so falsely or forging the someone's identity. It has been depicted clearly in this diagram. So Bob and Alice are the authorized person to communicate. But here what your Darth is doing is, Dart is forging lies, that saying that he is Bob and sending messages. So this Darth is forging allies in the name of Bob. So using the identity of the Bob, your Darth is forging the allies. So allies is unaware of this Darth. Allies, since it is said to be Bob is communicating, she's just transferring or communicating with this unauthorized person. So this is said to be an masquerading. So forging the identity of the other person and retrieving the message or making some conversations is said to be an masquerading. Okay, so this is falls under the authorization. That is why we always use for every email accounts we always use some passwords. What is this password is, why this password is used? These are all the authentication mechanism to ensure only the right person who is owner of that particular account will be knowing that password, isn't it? So that's why to know the identity of the person we are making these mechanisms. We also use fingerprints recognition in our mobile phones. So why, if some other person grabs our electronic devices without our fingerprint, isn't it, we will not they will not be able to access the information. So the fingerprints are unique. Again, this has been used for authentication purpose. So that is what masquerading, forging the identity of the other person. The second type of attack is replay of messages. What is this replay of messages? So it involves some passive capture of data and subsequent transmission to produced to the person. So what happens is, again it has been clearly depicted in this diagram. Bob is sending some message. Okay, the third person called Darth is capturing that message, and what he is doing is he is replaying that message later to Alice. So this is what replay of message. You might be surprised to hear how this will be said to be an attack. So say for an example, in an organization, okay, if our employee is soon to be fired off, in an organization we usually take measures of mm, closing the accounts, or access privileges will be denied for that particular employee before getting fired off. Say for example, if a manager is sending a message to the data manager to um, close the data privileges whatever that particular employee is having. Okay, so the same messages, say for example that messages has been captured by some third party. Okay, this manager has specified the date to close the privileges or to deny the privileges whatever that employee is having on the space from the specified date. So say for example that the third person is capturing that messages, and he's replaying after 1 or 2 days. So instead of denying the privileges for that employee from today, since the person, the allies is getting message after 2 days, she will be denying the privileges after 2 days for that particular employee. So meanwhile, the employee, there is a possibility of employee to mislead or misuse that particular information which is owned by that organization. So that is where this replay of attack plays an vital role. Okay, so this is also a kind of attack. If it is not being done at the right time as said by this particular person, then there is a loss of data might be possible in my organization. This is said to be an replay of attack. The third category is modification of messages. So modification of messages is same like capturing the message whatever sent and it has been modified and sent to allies. So allies will be getting some wrong information from the third party. Allies will not know that has been sent by the third party. Allies thinks that it is the message received from Bob and she will be acting according to the messages what she received. And this is again a threat to an communication, threat to an security. And the last form of active attack is said to be a denial of services. What is this denial of services said to be? It prevents or inhibits the normal use of any kind of services. So this is again and said to be an active attack. Say for example, there is a server. Okay, so server is providing some service. A third party is sending lot of messages to the server and he is making the congestion over the network. So due to congestion, my server, due to congestion which has been falsely created by this third person, okay, this unauthorized person, now my server is not able to provide services for some time to the authorized person. Okay, so this is a kind of again are not able to provide service to the authorized person. This is said to be a denial of service for some time. Okay, so this is said to be this comes under the active attack categories. So what we discussed in today's lecture is active attacks, 4 categories: masquerading, forging the identity of the user, replay of attacks, replaying the message after some time to the authorized person, and modification of messages, grabbing the message from the authorized person and modifying and resending to the another end parties after making modification, and denial of services, denying the services to the authorized person because of the uh, uh, problem created by the third person falsely. So that is all about the active attack. Thank you.